Chapter 41 Check-in. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Zhihang ignored Luo Aki's question, instead using both hands to return the black card to Qin Yu. He asked carefully, his voice laced with anticipation and respect, "This card?" Qin Yu took the black card, a smile playing on his lips. "That's right, it's the black gold card you were talking about." He then handed it to Kong Xiaoyi, instructing her to swipe it, even though he was already 90% sure. Hearing Qin Yu's confirmation still sent a jolt through Chen Zhihang. He tried applying for the Royal Platinum card from the Five Elements Bank some time ago, but was denied because his assets didn't meet their requirements. The Royal Platinum card was the lowest tier of privileged cards issued by the 5 major banks. Above it were the King-level Diamond card and the Emperor-level Purple Gold card. As for the legendary Supreme Black Gold card, it was practically mythical. Nobody he knew had ever actually seen one. The implications were clear: anyone connected to a black card, even an old classmate like Luo Aki, had to be someone important. Even if it wasn't his card, if he'd borrowed it from someone else, that connection alone put him on a completely different level than Chen Zhihang. It was almost comical how he doubted Qin Yu's ability to buy Villa No. 3. Kong Xiaoyi took the black card and swiped it without hesitation. Password entered, 11.424 million, transaction approved. The finance department would handle the paperwork, finalizing the purchase agreement. Within days, the deed would be issued, and the contract and keys to the villa would be handed over to Qin Yu. Villa No. 3 would officially be his, ready for him to move in. Just then, Qin Yu's phone rang. It was Tang, saying she was waiting down the road from the sales office and asking if he wanted her to come in. Qin Yu told her to wait, that he'd be right there. He grabbed the contract and keys and headed out. As he left, several of the sales staff, eager to make a good impression, wanted to see him off. Some of the younger, attractive girls even slipped him their business cards, their intentions obvious. Qin Yu was suddenly the most popular guy in the place. Only Chen Zhihang, Luo Aki, Zhu Yuan, and Kong Xiaoyi actually walked him to the car. On the way, Luo Aki and Qin Yu exchanged numbers. After Qin Yu got into the Rolls-Royce driven by Tang and pulled away, Chen Zhihang and the others stood by the roadside for a long time before returning to the sales office. "Mr. Chen, do you know who Mr. Qin really is?" Zhu Yuan asked once they were back inside. Luo Aki was also curious. She, too, wanted to know more about her former classmate, the guy who had even the head of a major corporation like Chen Zhihang walking on eggshells. If she'd known then what she knew now, she would have been all over Qin Yu back in college. "You don't need to know too much," Chen Zhihang said, "just understand that Mr. Qin is beyond your imagination." He stopped short of revealing the truth about the Supreme Black Gold card, only offering a vague reminder. He wouldn't dare to speculate too much about someone of that status, for fear of making a mistake. Zhu Yuan nodded, only half understanding, and changed the subject. "Then I'll go ahead and start the paperwork for your purchase of Villa No. 51. "Hold on a second, Zhu," Chen Zhihang said, stopping him. "Is there a problem, President Chen?" Zhu Yuan's heart skipped a beat. "That villa is off the table," Chen Zhihang stated simply. Zhu Yuan's face froze, and he looked at Chen Zhihang questioningly, waiting for an explanation. "Mr. Chen?" Luo Aki started to ask, but Chen Zhihang cut her off. "Zhu, I want to know which villa is closest to Mr. Qin." "That would be Villa No. 52. Zhu Yuan seemed to understand Chen Zhihang's line of thought. "Villa No. 52 is just across the road from Villa No. 3, he explained. "It's another large villa, and the price isn't much lower than Mr. Qin's. But it's not move-in ready, it's just a shell." "What's the price?" 9.5 million, but if you're serious, I can knock off 400,000. "Alright, we'll take it." "Forget looking at it, just draw up the contract," Chen Zhihang said decisively. His goal in buying Villa No. 52 was simple: proximity to Qin Yu. Qin Yu was so far above him, he could crush him with a single word. Conversely, just a few words from Qin Yu could elevate him to new heights, and with Luo Aki still in the picture as a former classmate and potentially a neighbor, this was his biggest opportunity yet. Unbeknownst to Luo Aki, Chen Zhihang's opinion of her had just skyrocketed because of her connection to Qin Yu. His intentions in marrying her had just undergone a major shift. After Qin Yu got in the car, they grabbed a bite at a nearby restaurant. After eating, he went to a phone store and bought a new phone for a little over $1,000, then he went to a high-end furniture store and dropped over $200,000 on furniture for the villa, along with sheets, mattresses, and bedding. After the workers delivered and installed the furniture and left, Tang Qin helped him clean up. By the time they were done, it was getting late, and the takeout Qin Yu had ordered arrived. After dinner, Qin Yu decided he didn't want to stay at the hotel tonight. Although the presidential suite was undoubtedly more luxurious and offered fantastic service, he just bought a new villa, and he wanted to spend the night in his new house. He told Tang Qin to pick him up in the morning, then she headed back to the hotel. Qin Yu settled onto the leather sofa, remembering that he'd bought a new phone today and had swapped in the old SIM card. He pulled out both phones, thought for a moment, and opened the WeChat app on the old phone to see if anyone had messaged him. It had been a day since he'd last opened it. He saw 3 new friend requests. One was from Yun Chaoting, one was from Kong Xiaoyi, and the other was from Tang Qin. Qin Yu tapped to accept each one. Busy, busy, busy. You only added me now, Yun Chaoting messaged almost immediately. Qin Yu typed, sorry, Sister Yun. I just opened WeChat and saw your friend request. Yun Chaoting, not going out to party tonight. Qin Yu, nope, I'm home. Yun Chaoting, you actually like staying in. Aren't all you young guys supposed to be out all night and sleeping all day? Send me a pic of your place. I don't believe you. Qin Yu, alright. Qin Yu took a selfie and sent it. Yun Chaoting, my bad. I thought you were out with that Jiang Xian kid. Yun Chaoting, oh, hey. Your car title transfer went through today. And I got you a crazy beautiful license plate. They put it on the car already. Want to see a pic? Qin Yu was intrigued. Qin Yu, sure, send it over. Yun Chaoting, okay, 1 second. A photo popped up. It showed Qin Yu's Bugatti Dark Knight Wind, with the brand new license plate Jiangnan 999999. The car was impressive, but the license plate was on another level. Qin Yu was speechless for a moment, until Yun Chaoting sent another message. Yun Chaoting, surprised. Qin Yu, I love it. Sister Yun, where did you even get that? Yun Chaoting, I had a friend pull some strings. Qin Yu, who's your friend? That kind of plate must have cost a fortune. Tell me how much, and I'll transfer it to you. Yun Chaoting, don't worry about it. It was nothing, really. Just come see me more often. Qin Yu, alright, then I won't say thank you. Yun Chaoting, that's right. The car's ready to pick up tomorrow. I've got all the paperwork ready for you. Qin Yu, awesome, Sister Yun. Yun Chaoting, gotta run. Chat later. Qin Yu sent an OK emoji, and their conversation ended. Chapter 42. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Later, Kong Xiaoyi messaged him. Kong Xiaoyi, Mr. Qin, thanks again for today. Let me treat you to dinner sometime. Qin Yu, sounds good. I'll hold you to that. Kong Xiaoyi, oh, I almost forgot. The company's waiving your Nanyun Villa property fees for 3 years. Just head over to the property management office when you get a chance to register. Qin Yu, that's really great. Thanks. Kong Xiaoyi, you're very welcome, Mr. Qin. Since you just bought the villa, let me know if you need help with cleaning, moving, anything like that. Qin Yu realized that a place that big would definitely need a cleaning service. Qin Yu, I appreciate that. Know any good housekeeping companies? I'm looking for someone to help with the cleaning. Kong Xiaoyi, no problem at all. Manager Zhu knows all the best people. I'll ask her tomorrow. Qin Yu, I appreciate it. Kong Xiaoyi, it's nothing. Kong Xiaoyi, what kind of nanny are you looking for? Any requirements? Qin Yu, honest and reliable is key. Salary's not a big deal. Kong Xiaoyi, any age preference? Young. Older? Qin Yu, younger would be good. Kong Xiaoyi, got it. Don't worry, Mr. Qin. I know just what to do. You won't be disappointed. Qin Yu. After a few more pleasantries, the conversation fizzled out. Exiting the chat, he noticed several unread messages. One was from Jiang Xian, so he tapped it open. Jiang Xian, bro, send me your bank info. I'll wire you the money. The message was from Noon. Qin Yu figured he might as well send it. He waited a beat, but no response, so he bailed. Next up, Li Yan. Her message was from last night. Li Yan, hey, Qin, you there? Qin Yu typed back. Qin Yu, yep. Still no reply. Guess she's offline. One more unread message. Li Shi, an old junior high buddy. Li Shi was his closest friend back then. He dropped out after junior high to apprentice as a mechanic, and now he owns his own shop. They lived in neighboring towns and were one of the few old classmates he still kept in touch with. Li Shi, Qin Yu, you okay? Heard you and Su Li split up. Qin Yu frowned. How'd he know about that? Qin Yu, doing fine. How'd you hear about Su Li and me? Li Shi replied instantly. Li Shi, you didn't see the group chat, the junior high group chat. He remembered joining that thing a couple of years ago. Started out fun, but it quickly devolved into a competition of who could brag the loudest. Promotions, new businesses, fancy cars, bigger houses. Everyone was either showing off or trying to. Those who weren't doing so hot just disappeared or lurked silently. Qin Yu included. He muted the group and ignored the endless notifications. Curious now, and with time on his hands, he tapped the group icon. Chaos. He scrolled back and saw a string of mentions with his name. Finally, the whole story. Su Li had posted a bunch of selfies with some other guy. All cozy, fancy dinners, luxury hotel rooms, expensive cars. She looked ecstatic, and the guy was none other than Feng Yuan. The nerve, Qin Yu muttered. He remembered Su Li trying to crawl back to him yesterday. What a snake. The photos had blown up the group chat. Everyone wanted to know if Qin Yu and Su Li had broken up. Su Li's response was brutal. She'd dumped that loser Qin Yu, of course. She went on to say he was broke, hadn't bought her anything nice, and had no idea how to treat a woman. She also made sure everyone knew he was no longer working at an ad agency, but was stuck with a dead-end job at some hotel. Then the floodgates opened. Everyone started piling on. Su Li bragged about her rich new boyfriend, how much he loved her. A designer bag, a luxury car, even a house. They were planning a huge wedding, and the whole class was invited. The others were green with envy. They said Su Li had finally seen the light. Then they started digging up dirt on Qin Yu, and Su Li happily obliged. She seemed to enjoy exaggerating his flaws. Qin Yu couldn't help but wonder, was he really that pathetic? He kept scrolling through the gloating, the cheap shots, the backhanded compliments. Finally, a girl named Gu Qianxi chimed in, asking what was going on. The group exploded again. Besides one sentence answering Gu Qianxi's question, every message was sucking up to her and mentioning Li Juanxiao's name. With Gu Qianxi's entrance, Su Li clammed up and disappeared. Qin Yu had had enough. He left the group, exchanged a few more words with Li Shi, and logged off. Li Junxiao, Qin Yu murmured, a slight smile on his face. The guy who was out of his league back then, maybe the tables would turn. He woke up the next day. System, check-in. Congratulations, host. You have successfully checked in and received $50 billion in cash. $50 billion has been added to your balance. 50 million. Not bad. Hopefully the Jiangyun Hotel acquisition goes through today. That's another check-in opportunity. Fingers crossed for a level 5. Thinking about the acquisition, he opened the system panel. Host, Qin Yu, age, 25. Constitution, 50, normal, mental power, 50, normal, skill, none. Check-in progress, 0. Task, acquired Jiangyun Hotel, incomplete. Check-in points, 5. Balance, $150.8327 billion. Backpack, X2. 150 billion, plus the money in my account. Should be enough to buy the whole place. Qin Yu closed the panel and started making a plan. Chapter 43 Tang Qin was fired. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The phone rang. It was Tang Qin. Qin Yu figured she was at the villa gate, maybe stuck there, and was calling him, but when he answered, Tang Qin's voice was full of apologies. Mr. Qin, I'm so sorry, I won't be able to pick you up. Why? Qin Yu frowned. I don't work at Yunjiang Hotel anymore. I didn't want you waiting around for me, not knowing. What happened? What do you mean you don't work at the hotel anymore? I got fired. Tang Qin chuckled humorlessly. Qin Yu was stunned. Can you tell me what's going on? That there was a pause on the other end. It's mostly because of one person. You've met her, President Ma's sister, Ma Wenxiu. She was Mrs. Li, but she's divorced now, so I guess she's not anymore. So she got her brother to fire you? You could say that. You didn't do anything wrong, so Mr. Ma can just fire someone like that. Qin Yu was getting angry. This wasn't just about the unfairness to Tang Qin. She was his exclusive butler when he stayed there. Her firing meant he'd have to switch to another one. And the hotel hadn't even called to let him know. Weren't they worried about upsetting a big customer like him? There was something else, too. He'd really ticked off Ma Wenxiu the day before. Was Tang Qin's dismissal some kind of payback aimed at him? After a beat of silence, she said, they can always find a reason. I'm just a small employee. I can't fight City Hall, you know. Qin Yu knew exactly what she meant. He'd had a similar experience himself just the other day. If the boss wants to get you, especially the general manager, it's easy. Tang Qin, where are you now? I'm still at the hotel, in the finance department, settling my salary, she said. I'll be leaving after that. Okay, don't leave just yet. I'll come find you. Alright, I'll wait for you here. Qin Yu hung up and headed out of the villa, skipping breakfast. It took a few minutes to walk out of the Nanshanzhuang complex. Luckily, a taxi was parked there. He flagged it down. On the way, he decided he needed to buy more cars and hire some drivers. He was tired of dealing with this kind of hassle whenever he needed to go somewhere, and it was time to get a secretary. His assets were only going to grow, and he couldn't spend all his time managing them. He needed someone to help him, plus, he'd need someone to handle investments and spending. Choosing the right secretary was crucial. They didn't need to be a genius, but they had to be loyal and reasonably competent. Tang Qin had a degree in finance from Shanghai Metropolitan University, with a solid understanding of corporate financial management. And in the few days he'd known her, he'd gotten a pretty good read on her personality. He felt like he could trust her. Right now, she was the best candidate to be his secretary. The taxi pulled up to Jiangyun Hotel. He got out and saw Tang Qin in a simple suit, waiting anxiously at the entrance. You didn't have to wait out here. You could have sat inside, Qin Yu said, a little sternly. Tang Qin gave a wry smile. They won't let me stay in the hotel. I had to wait for you out here. What's going on? Qin Yu's face darkened. Tang Qin quickly explained. After she was fired, she'd talked to Qin Yu on the phone and then sat in the lobby, waiting for him. Then Ma Wenxiu had shown up and ordered a security guard to kick her out. She'd said that Tang Qin was no longer an employee or a guest, and her presence was bad for the hotel and her mood. The security guard knew Tang Qin and hadn't listened, even saying a few words in her defense. Ma Wenxiu had gotten even angrier and called Zhang Zhong, the security manager. Zhang Zhong had reprimanded the first security guard, Zhang Xiao, and sent another guard to escort Tang Qin out. Why is Ma targeting you like this? Did you two have some kind of feud? Qin Yu asked. You could say that. Tang Qin explained, I used to work in marketing for that Weijia beauty company. The general manager was Ma Wenxiu's ex-husband. He was hitting on me. When Ma Wenxiu found out, she caused a scene at the company. That's why I quit. Actually, Mr. Li was harassing me so much that I was already sick of working there. If it hadn't been hard to find another job, I would have left a long time ago. It's just a coincidence that I ended up at Jiangyun Hotel. I didn't know there was a connection to Ma Wenxiu. Now that she's divorced, she probably hates me even more. Plus, I embarrassed her in front of you yesterday. She's just taking it out on me today. Qin Yu nodded, then smiled. So I'm a factor in all this, too. Mr. Qin, you're joking. Even without you, with Ma Wenxiu being so petty and vindictive, she'd have fired me eventually once she knew I was working here. Qin Yu scoffed. Don't worry. I'll help you get even. This Ma Wenxiu has power just because her brother's the general manager. She can just fire people on a whim and order the security manager around. He paused. Come inside with me. I want to talk to you about something. Okay. Tang Qin nodded. In the past couple of days as Qin Yu's service butler, she'd seen how rich and powerful he was. The firing had thrown her for a loop, and she'd immediately thought of Qin Yu. She hoped he'd help her, at least embarrass Ma Wenxiu, and she'd be extremely grateful. Qin Yu and Tang Qin headed toward the hotel, only to be stopped by a security guard at the door. Hello, sir, you can go in, but I'm sorry, ma'am, you can't. Qin Yu was getting annoyed. It seemed the security manager was really in Ma Wenxiu's pocket. He didn't care about anything but pleasing the boss, trying to keep his anger in check. He said, this woman is my friend. Tell me why she can't come in. I'm sorry, sir, those are the manager's orders, the guard said, looking a little embarrassed. You're talking about the security manager. Does he have that kind of authority? I'm a guest in the presidential suite. I can't even bring a friend inside. Is that what your security manager wants? He's not afraid I'll complain. Qin Yu's voice was sharp. Hearing that he was a guest in the presidential suite, the guard looked nervous and flustered. He hadn't known Tang Qin knew someone staying in the presidential suite. The manager hadn't told him that. He knew he was in trouble now. Let's go, Qin Yu said to Tang Qin, ignoring the security guard, and they walked into the hotel lobby together. Chapter 44 Questioning. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tang Qin, you little tramp, how dare you show your face here? Security, get her out. Qin Yu hadn't expected to run into a welcoming party the second he walked into the lobby. Front and center was Ma Yichuan, the hotel's general manager. Trailing behind him were Li Heng, the lobby manager he'd met once, Zhang Zhong, the head of security, and four others who looked like department heads. Ma Wenxiu was there too, glaring daggers at Tang Qin and shooting resentful glances at Qin Yu. Looks like they were all waiting to greet someone, probably Yun Jintian, the chairman of the hotel, if Qin Yu had to guess. I'm just curious, Qin Yu said, cutting right to Ma Wenxiu, since when do you have the authority to order my friends around? Last I checked, you didn't work in hotel management. Ma Wenxiu gritted her teeth. One woman standing before her was a gold digger who'd stolen her ex. The other had cost her over 1,000,000 yuan. She could handle Tang Qin, but this Mr. Qin was a different story. Even in this hotel, he was a VIP. Swallowing her anger, she said coldly, she's no longer an employee here. Her presence disrupts business. As a guest, it's my right to voice my concerns. Seems reasonable enough. She may not work here anymore, but I brought her. So, tell me, is there some rule that says a presidential suite guest can't bring a friend? Qin Yu countered. Ma Wenxiu was at a loss for words. Finally, she scoffed, who knows what you two are up to, sneaking around to book a room. Ma Wenxiu, that's enough. Tang Qin snapped, finally losing her cool. Ma Wenxiu sneered, what? Is the shoe pinching? We all know you're nothing but a man-stealing little tramp. Hey, old lady, you can eat whatever you want, but watch your mouth. Slandering people like that could get you in trouble. Just because your brother's the general manager doesn't make you untouchable. Qin Yu smirked. In fact, it's possible your brother's reign as general manager of Jiangyun Hotel ends today. Mr. Qin, I'm not sure what you mean by that. But it's definitely not up to you to decide whether or not I deserve my position, Ma Yichuan retorted, feeling the heat. Mr. Ma, just a friendly heads up. Qin Yu narrowed his eyes. Since you're so quick to obey your sister and fire an employee for no reason, you should be prepared to get fired yourself. Keep dreaming. Easy to talk tough, Ma Wenxiu scoffed. Whether I get fired or not isn't your call, Ma Yichuan shot back. He wasn't afraid of Qin Yu. He'd pulled some strings yesterday to dig up dirt on Qin Yu, finding out his background. All that mattered was Jiang Xian, and the possible repercussions of the Jiang family ties. Guess we'll see, Qin Yu said, turning to leave with Tang Qin. After they left, one of the staff members whispered, "Who's that kid? Must be something to insult Ma like that. Someone you don't want to mess with. Big guys battling it out, best to stay out of it," Li Heng warned. The man nodded and shut his mouth. Just then, someone came running up to Ma Yichuan. "General Manager, Chairman Yun's car is here. Almost at the front entrance." "Great," Ma Yichuan's spirits lifted. He pushed the earlier unpleasantness aside and addressed everyone. "All right, people, let's get our act together. We need to make a good impression on Chairman Yun. He's got the final say around here from now on. Make sure you win him over if you want to keep your jobs, got it? Don't worry, Mr. Ma, we know the drill. We'll make sure you and Chairman Yun are both happy." Ma Yichuan nodded, turning to Ma Wenxiu. "You just stick by my side. I'll introduce you to Chairman Yun later. Make sure you're on your best behavior, understand?" "Got it, big brother." Ma Wenxiu replied, excited. After giving those instructions, the group hurried out to greet their chairman. Meanwhile, Qin Yu and Tang Qin were waiting for the elevator when they ran into Han Xian, the housekeeping manager, on her way out. "Manager Han, I was looking for you." "What luck to find you here," Qin Yu said flatly to Han Xian. "Mr. Qin. What can I do for you?" Han Xian asked, a little puzzled by Qin Yu's expression. "Let's talk in my room. I have a few questions for you," Qin Yu said, stepping into the elevator. "Okay," Han Xian said, exchanging a glance with Tang Qin before following him. Soon, they arrived at Presidential Suite 36 on the top floor of Jiangyun Hotel. "Manager Han, can you have the kitchen send up 2 breakfasts? I'm starving," Qin Yu said after they were all seated. "What kind of breakfast would you like, Mr. Qin?" "Just send a little of everything." "All right." Han Xian used the hotel's internal communication system to place the order. Then, Qin Yu got down to business. Tang Qin was fired. "As her boss, I'm sure you're aware." Han Xian gave a wry smile. "Actually, I just found out myself. It was a direct order from Mr. Chen in HR. I was just on my way to talk to him to see if there was anything I could do. Firing Ms. Tang has impacted me, a hotel guest. I was planning to have Tang Qin drive me around this morning, but this happened," Qin Yu said, placing the blame squarely on her. "I apologize. That's my fault, and the hotel's. If I had known, I would have assigned another employee to assist you immediately. So, the biggest fault lies with your general manager Ma." Han Xian was silent. Qin Yu pressed on. "I ran into your general manager Ma in the lobby, surrounded by managers. Any idea where they were headed?" "You mean when the chairman of the hotel arrived?" "It was around this hour, so they all went down to greet Chairman Yun. I didn't go because I was swamped." Han Xian explained. "There's another shareholder coming to your hotel?" Qin Yu asked. "Yes, how did you know?" "The other shareholder is in Jinghua. Do you know when he's expected?" Qin Yu continued, ignoring her question. Han Xian thought for a moment. "I only heard he was coming today, but I don't know the exact time. Maybe the chairman or general manager Ma would know better." Qin Yu continued, "Where is your chairman's office?" "Next floor, room 3501. Han Xian answered without hesitation. After a moment's thought, Qin Yu said, "Manager Han, could you do me a favor? If Xie Jinghua arrives, could you let me know as soon as possible?" "Well." Han Xian hesitated. She sensed something was amiss. Offending either of the company's top bosses could be a bad move. Chapter 45 Promise. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qin Yu, noticing Han Xian's hesitation, smiled. Don't sweat it. It's just a phone call. He paused, knowing Han Xian needed a good reason to genuinely want to help. Hang on a sec. He got up, went into the master bedroom, and pulled out the 30% equity certificate for Jiangyun Hotel from his system inventory. Back in the main room, he gave Han Xian a slight smile. Truth is, I own 30% of Jiangyun Hotel. So, technically, I'm your boss. 30%. Both Han Xian and Tang Qin were surprised. Han Xian said, Mr. Qin, you're pulling my leg. I know the hotel's 3 shareholders. There's Chairman Yun Zhengang, the biggest shareholder with 40%. Then there's Mr. Jinghua He, with 20%. The other 30% is pledged to Longxia Commercial Bank. So, I'm not sure where your 30% comes from, Mr. Qin. Qin Yu simply smiled and handed her the equity certificate. If you don't believe me, just take a look at this. Han Xian took it, examined it, and exclaimed, this really is a 30% equity certificate for Jiangyun Hotel, with Mr. Qin's name on it. She asked, is the equity pledged at Longxia Commercial Bank yours? How could news of something this big not leak? Do you believe me now? Qin Yu asked. Han Xian returned the document, smiling wryly. Mr. Qin, you were kidding around. You just flashed a 30% equity certificate. How could I not believe you? So, would you be willing to help me with that matter? You're the boss now. I have to help the boss. Han Xian glanced at Tang Qin, a knowing look on her face. Did you reveal your hand for Tang Qin's sake? Wanting to keep her around is simple. If Mr. Ma knew you were a shareholder, he wouldn't dare cross you. Tang Qin blushed, wondering if Han Xian was right. Qin Yu said, I have other plans for Tang Qin. And I don't mind telling you, Yun Zhengang is here today to acquire Qiao Jinghua's share of Jiangyun Hotel. My main goal, just like Yun Zhengang's, is also that 20%. Han Xian looked shocked. So that's it. Mr. Qin, you're trying to snatch the prize right under Chairman Yun's nose. Jiangyun Hotel was originally a Yun family business. They've been through a couple of crises. The first time, they pledged 30% of the hotel to Longxia Bank for financing. The second time, they had to give up 20% to Mr. Yi to get his support. Jiangyun Hotel is a top-quality asset, incredibly profitable every year. The Yun family wouldn't give up shares unless absolutely necessary. If Yun Zhengang finds out you own the pledged equity and are trying to buy young Master Xie's share, he'll definitely try to take you down. Qin Yu nodded, agreeing with Han Xian's assessment. Don't worry about all that. Just keep an eye on Yun Zhengang for me. Call me as soon as Jinghua gets to the hotel. He paused, then added, if I successfully acquire Jinghua's equity, I'll promote you to general manager of Jiangyun Hotel. Really? Han Xian's eyes lit up. No need to lie. I'm already fed up with Mr. Chen, and you're the best candidate to replace him in my opinion. Well, what are the odds of you actually succeeding? Qin Yu thought for a moment. As long as I meet with Qiao Jinghua before he transfers the equity, my chances are just as good as Yun Zhenggang's. Okay, if you say so, Mr. Qin, I'm on board. Great, thanks for your support. Qin Yu shook hands with Han Xian. After a few more instructions, Han Xian left. Back in the presidential suite, it was just Qin Yu and Tang Qin. Tang Qin felt a little nervous. She wasn't just there as the hotel's service butler, there was something more. Plus, the fact that Qin Yu was a shareholder of Jiangyun Hotel made him even more mysterious in her eyes. Tang Qin, I need an assistant, a personal secretary, someone to help me manage some of my investments. And I want you to be that person. What do you say? Qin Yu didn't want to beat around the bush. He got right to the point. Ah! Tang Qin exclaimed, completely taken by surprise, becoming Qin Yu's secretary, was it a dream come true? Either way, it certainly wasn't a bad thing. She knew just how rich Qin Yu was. Becoming his secretary would be a huge opportunity. What? You don't want to? Qin Yu frowned, seeing her silence. Mr. Qin, I accept. It's an honor to serve you, Tang Qin said quickly. She pursed her lips and smiled. Do I still call you Mr. Qin, or boss now? Qin Yu smiled, too. Just call me boss. Qin Yu had always dreamed of being the head of a company, of having hundreds of employees greeting him with a respectful hi, boss whenever they saw him. Now, that wish was within easy reach. Okay, boss. You didn't even think about it or ask me how much I'd pay you. Qin Yu asked with a laugh. Tang Qin shrugged and smiled. I'm basically homeless right now, so this job is perfect. Besides, you're generous, Mr. Qin. I'm sure it won't be less than what I made as a hotel butler. Hard to say, Qin Yu teased, it depends on whether you're any good as a secretary. If you're not, forget about a high salary. Oh. And what would make me a good secretary, Mr. Qin? Tang Qin gave him a sultry look. Is it like on TV? Seeing her pretending to be shy and hearing her low voice, Qin Yu was embarrassed. After being caught off guard, he coughed. Your annual salary is set at $300 million for now. On top of that, there will be bonuses and commissions. It all depends on how well you do. If you do a good job, your commission will be at least as much as your salary. Hearing that, Tang Qin became serious. $300 million. Is that too much? What if I can't handle it? Tang Qin was floored. $300 million a year, plus commission. This wasn't a secretary's salary. It was a boss's salary. Don't worry. Your main responsibilities aren't that different from what you did as a hotel butler. You'll mainly be helping me take care of some loose ends and integrating some of my holdings. When Tang Qin heard that, she felt even more hesitant. I'm worried I'm not qualified. I don't want to mess things up. Chapter 46 Registered Company. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, here's the plan. Qin Yu paused, then said, handle the paperwork for me and register an investment company called Qin Yu Investment. This new company will consolidate all my current assets. It'll also operate as a venture capital firm, investing in promising companies and industries. Before we get to that point, I need you to recruit top-notch business talent. Build a team first, and then you'll oversee everything. A new company and a team to build. Tang Qin's eyes lit up. As a graduate of Shanghai University of Finance and Economics, this was right up her alley. If she nailed it, she'd be a seasoned pro. This was a whole different ballgame than being a hotel butler, and with Qin Yu's deep pockets, a new company would definitely be a major player. It was her chance to go from zero to hero. Boss, where do I start? Tang Qin, trying to contain her excitement, asked Qin Yu for guidance. Give me your bank account number. I'll transfer some funds to get you started. Then follow my instructions. Okay. Tang Qin hesitated for a moment, then handed Qin Yu her bank card. Qin Yu took it and tapped away at his phone, secretly instructing the system to transfer $1 billion to Tang Qin's account. Ding, transfer successful. $1 billion has been transferred to the bank account designated by the host. Hearing the system confirmation, Qin Yu returned the bank card to Tang Qin. I've transferred $1 billion to your account. I'll give you my credentials, and you can register the company for me. Use $100 million as Qin Yu Investments registered capital. The rest goes into the new company's account for investments, operating expenses, and attracting talent. I'm putting all the decisions in your hands. Oh, and deduct $3 million as your annual salary, Qin Yu added. Tang Qin had also received the bank's text message confirming the $1 billion deposit. Her throat went dry, swallowing hard. She stammered, Boss, you're putting that much money in my account? You trust me that much? Aren't you worried I'll take the money and run? Qin Yu smiled faintly. I trust my judgment. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked you to be my secretary. Tang Qin nodded earnestly. Thank you, boss. I won't let you down. After a moment, she asked, "What about the company address? Should I lease office space?" "Almost forgot." Qin Yu considered it. "Go to the commercial street at Huajiang Plaza. Find Jiang Sheng, the property's general manager, and tell him I sent you. Personally pick out a large office space as Jianyu Investment's temporary headquarters." "Boss, what's your connection with Huatian Plaza? Will they even agree?" Tang Qin asked curiously. The commercial street was a well-known, prime location in Nanjiang City, and Huatian Plaza was a major hub there. "I own Huatian Plaza. Do you think they'll disagree?" Qin Yu chuckled, though surprised. Hearing it directly from Qin Yu still blew her mind. Tang Qin managed a wry smile. "Okay, boss. No problem. I'll head over to Huajiang Plaza and lock down the company's address." Qin Yu nodded with a smile. Just then, the hotel waiter arrived with Qin Yu's breakfast. "Join me. I ordered enough for two. We need to be fueled up to get things done." "Okay, I'd be glad to," Tang Qin said, sitting down. Meanwhile, one floor below Qin Yu, in the chairman's office at Jiangyun Hotel. Mai Chuan stood respectfully before a middle-aged man in his 50s sitting at the desk. The middle-aged man, Yun Zhengnong, possessed an air of authority. He was the chairman of Jiangyun Hotel and the hotel's majority shareholder. "Mai Chuan, how's the hotel's business lately? Anything concerning?" Yun Zhengnong asked. Although he was the hotel's chairman, he also headed the Yun family in Nanjiang City. The Yun family's industrial focus had shifted in recent years, and their core interests now lay in real estate, not hotels. Consequently, he rarely visited and largely entrusted hotel operations to Mai Chuan. "Mr. Yun, the hotel's business is steadily increasing. The first quarter of this year was up 30% compared to the last," Mai Chuan replied. "Good." Yun Zhengnong said, "You know why I'm here. Mr. Xie has agreed to sell me his shares, and we're signing the contract today. Draw up the transfer agreement. And no mistakes. After the contract's signed, the hotel will be fully back in Yun family hands. You've done a great job, and I'll reward you. By the year's end, your compensation will double, and you'll get a raise." "Thank you, Mr. Yun. I'm grateful for your trust and won't let you down," Mai Chuan said, clearly pleased. "Good. Go and wait for young Master Xie. Let me know when he arrives." "Yes, Mr. Yun." After Mai Chuan left, Yun Zhengnong muttered to himself, "Jiangyun Hotel, once I acquire Wu's 20% stake, it'll be completely mine again. A crucial step." In addition to wholly owning Jiangyun Hotel, the Yun family had also controlled a dozen prominent restaurants in the past. Besides the Fong family, the Yun family was the most powerful in Nanjiang City, a scene of infinite glory where no one dared to challenge them, but it also made them enemies. After old Master Yun passed, the Yun family lost its biggest pillar. Their power plummeted, from a top-tier wealthy family to a second-tier one. Many businesses were suppressed and pushed out, and the capital chain was close to collapsing. Old rivals and other opportunists circled, ready to pounce. Desperate, Yun Zhengnong had to sell off most of his assets, clinging to just 40% of Jiangyun Hotel. He used the money to start a real estate company elsewhere. Now, with a powerful backer, the Yun family had risen from the brink to a force to be reckoned with. Therefore, Yun Zhengnong aimed to reclaim Jiangyun Hotel. Xiao Jinghua wanted to invest in a project, needed funds, and was willing to part with his stake in Jiangyun Hotel. Jiangyun Hotel wasn't just a profitable business, its real value lay in the connections it provided. Personal connections were invaluable. As a renowned 7-star hotel in Nanjiang City, Jiangyun Hotel connected with people at all levels. Focusing on just one top executive could greatly benefit the Yun family. After breakfast, Tang Qin left to find office space at Huajiang Plaza for the new company. Qin Yu waited for an hour. Feeling anxious, he pulled out his phone and called Jiang Xian. "Jiang Xian, have you contacted Xie Jinghua? When's he arriving at the hotel?" Qin Yu asked. "Relax, brother Qin. He said yesterday he'd be here around noon. It's still 2 or 3 hours until then." Jiang Xian yawned, sounding like he'd just woken up. Chapter 47 Confrontation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, so call your brother Hua and see if he can get here sooner. I'm at the Jiangyun Hotel. Got it, brother Qin, 1SEC, I'll buzz him. Jiang Xian hung up. A few minutes later, his phone buzzed. Jiang Xian sounded a little sheepish. Hey, brother Qin, sorry about this, but I can't seem to get through to Hua. His phone might be off. I texted him too, just waiting to hear back. Qin Yu's brow furrowed. Just come down to the hotel and we'll wait for him together. Okay, be there ASAP, I'll call when I arrive. Alright, hurry it up. Qin Yu hung up, a bad feeling creeping in. This is the system's first quest. If I blow this, will the system make fun of me forever? He muttered. Half an hour later, his phone rang again. Qin Yu thought it was Jiang Xian, but it was Han Xian, and she sounded frantic. Mr. Qin, so sorry. I just found out that Mr. Shi got to the hotel about 15 minutes ago. I had to step away right at that time. They're in the chairman's office on the 35th floor right now, and Wang, the CFO, is there too. They've got a deal hammered out and are about to sign the stock transfer agreement. Qin Yu shot to his feet, wanting to yell. Han, where are you? I'm heading down now. He started for the door. I'm right outside the chairman's office. Can you stall them? Qin Yu asked, already walking. I'll try. Thanks, Han. Qin Yu burst out of his room and made a beeline for the stairwell. Inside the chairman's office at the Jiangyun Hotel, Yun Jing'an was practically beaming as he signed the stock transfer agreement in triplicate, 20% of Wu's shares in Jiangyun Hotel for $22 billion. Sold at a premium. 5 years ago, when he pawned these shares off on Gu Jinghua, he only got 500 million. Thinking about it stung a bit. But hey, the shares are coming back to me, so it's all good. Contract signed, he slid it across the table to Gu Jinghua, who sat opposite him. Smiling, he said, alright, Gu, your turn. Once you sign, this deal is basically done. I'll wire you $17 billion now. Wang can handle the rest, and the other $5 billion will be transferred ASAP. Sounds good, Yun. You're a man of your word. I'll sign it. Gu Jinghua grinned. He picked up the pen, ready to sign. Hold up, that it was Han Xian. She gave a small bow to Qiao Jinghua. Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Shi. Someone wants to see you first. Signing can wait. Han, shouldn't you be doing your job? What do you think you're doing interfering in company matters? As chairman of Jiangyun Hotel, Yun Jing'an knew everyone, especially Han Xian. He was fuming inside. Just as Jinghua was about to sign, Han Xian just barges in out of nowhere. She was clearly doing this on purpose. Han, this is a personal thing between two bosses. Butting in like this is out of line. Ma Yichuan looked ticked as well. Han Xian was making a scene out of this, and if this deal was affected, he would be held responsible. Forget about a raise or bonuses. Maybe this year's bonus would disappear and the chairman would get the impression that he was incompetent. Facing two sets of eyes glaring at her, Han Xian was freaking out. From the moment she crashed in here to stop Qiao Jinghua from signing, she knew she was up against Yun Jing'an. Fail, and she could just get fired. Succeed, and she could be promoted to general manager of the Jiangyun Hotel in one fell swoop. Mr. Shi, Mr. Qin will be here any minute. He needs to meet with you. Han Xian forced a smile. She was praying Qin Yu would get a move on. Mr. Qin. Qiao Jinghua looked puzzled, then set the pen down, as if something had clicked. The Mr. Qin you're talking about, his name wouldn't happen to be Qin Yu. That's him. So you know him, Mr. Shi. Han Xian silently breathed a sigh of relief. It is that guy. This dude has a lot of connections. Not only is a hotel manager working for him, but that kid Jiang Xian is all over him. Gu Jinghua chuckled. Well, just for Jiang Xian's sake, I guess I can wait a minute. Actually, Jinghua got a call from Jiang Xian yesterday, and he was interested in Qin Yu at that time, especially when he found out the dude dropped $80 million on a Bugatti Dark Knight Wind, but after a second thought, he figured this guy was probably too young to realize the kind of commitment that the Jiangyun Hotel shares in his hand required. It was definitely not the same as buying a supercar. The main shareholder of the hotel, Yun Zhengang, wants to acquire his Jiangyun Hotel equity too. No one else would get involved, so he didn't give it much thought. If Han Xian hadn't reminded him so suddenly, he would have forgotten about it. Qin Yu, huh? He's interested in Mr. Shi's shares. Ma Yichuan's expression darkened. You know him too? Yun Zheneng's face was even more thunderous. Something was off. Seemed like everyone knew about the guy trying to snatch the hotel shares from him, except for him. Ma Yichuan was about to explain when Qin Yu walked in. Qin Yu was still internally yelling at the hotel for making its stairwell fire exit so hard to find. Luckily, he ran into the cleaning lady. After asking her, he got to the room in the shortest time possible. The chairman's office was massive. Besides the desk, there was a big conference table. 3 people were seated, and Ma Yichuan was standing behind a middle-aged man in his 50s in a Tang suit. The man's temples were going gray, making him look older, but his eyes were sharp. That must be Yun Zhengang, the chairman of Jiangyun Hotel. Sitting next to him was a woman in her 40s. Must be the CFO. Across from them sat a man a few years older than Qin Yu in a white shirt. Hua, right? I'm Qin Yu. Jiang Xian mentions you all the time. You're even more impressive in person. Qin Yu strolled over, politely extending a hand to the man in white, flashing a casual smile. Brother Qin. Heard so much about you. Meeting the real thing is something else. Jinghua was surprised Qin Yu was so casually dressed, but he still shook his hand. Chairman Yun, am I right? You're looking pretty spiffy. Qin Yu was also looking at Yun Zhengnang's 40% stake in Jiangyun Hotel. He wanted to make a good impression, so he greeted him. You're too kind, Mr. Qin. You aren't so bad yourself. Yun Zhengnang's mouth twitched, forcing a smile, but his eyes sharpened again. I understand you're also interested in the Jiangyun Hotel shares my friend Mr. Shi has. Chapter 48 30 million. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qin Yu nodded, not trying to hide anything. Yeah, I heard Hua was thinking about selling his shares in the Jiangyun Hotel, and I'm definitely interested. Humph. Yun Zhengang slammed his hand on the table, clearly ticked off. Mr. Qin, Jiangyun Hotel has always been a Yun family thing. Taking back those shares is just common sense. Besides, this is a deal between current shareholders. If I don't sign off on it, an outsider like you has no business getting involved. Qin Yu chuckled. What are you saying, Director Yun? It's a matter between the buyer and the seller. Hua owns the shares, not you. He can sell to whoever he wants, that's his call. Ha. Yun Zhengang scoffed. Mr. Qin, you don't get how this works. As a major shareholder, I get first dibs. Plus, young Master Yi and I already shook hands on a deal and signed the contract. So, Mr. Qin, you're too late. Better luck next time. Oh. Qin Yu's eyebrows furrowed, realizing he might be in trouble. Is it too late, though? They might be planning to sign, but Mr. Shi hasn't actually signed anything yet. Han Xian chimed in quietly. Qin Yu spotted the contract sitting in front of Xiao Jinghua and breathed a sigh of relief. He grinned at Jinghua. Hua, Jiang Xian told you I was coming, right? Said I'm really keen on buying your shares in Jiangyun Hotel. As for Chairman Yun's preemptive rights, well, that just depends on who's offering what. If he can match my offer, then I'll walk. Yun Zhengang was even more enraged. Qin Yu, don't push it. I said my buddy already agreed to sell me the shares. How could he sell them to you? Ma Yichuan, sensing the shift in momentum, jumped in. Director Yun, should I call hotel security and have this Mr. Qin escorted out? After all, he doesn't belong here. He was terrified that Qin Yu would actually buy Jinghua's shares. He'd already crossed him, and if Qin Yu became a shareholder, he knew he'd be target number one. He even suspected Qin Yu was only trying to buy Xiao Jinghua's shares just to make his life miserable. Good idea. Yun Jing'ang shot Ma Yichuan an approving look, then turned his attention back to Qin Yu, his tone cold. You should leave now, or do we need to call security? Nobody's kicking my pal Qin Yu out. Jiang Xian had just arrived on the scene, barging in ready for action. He hadn't expected Gu Jinghua to show up at the hotel so early, and when he called, his phone was dead. When he finally made it to the hotel, he wanted to find Qin Yu, but an acquaintance told him the boss was up here. He knew he was potentially missing something good. Hua, didn't you already say you'd give me the hotel shares for Qin Yu? What's with Yun over here? He subtly winked at Qin Yu, check me out, kind of wink. Qin Yu gave him an almost imperceptible thumbs up. You. He Jinghua, who had been enjoying the show, was caught off guard by Jiang Xian's interruption. Seeing the chaos unfold, his mood soured, and he glared at Jiang Xian, his expression uncertain. Suddenly, he slapped his forehead, as if struck by a sudden thought. You know what? I totally forgot. A while back, I did promise Jiang Xian I'd transfer my Jiangyun Hotel shares to one of his friends. But I was a little tipsy at the time, and it totally slipped my mind. Been so long, I forgot all about it. Now that I've agreed to transfer them to you, Yun, this is seriously awkward. He Jinghua put on an embarrassed act. Yun Jing'ang was momentarily thrown off. Well, then what's the plan, Gu? Ma Yichuan cursed under his breath. Qin Yu and Jiang Xian only met a day ago, so that story was complete BS. But he didn't dare to call him out. He didn't want to cross Jiang Xian or He Jinghua. Okay, here's an idea. He Jinghua paused for dramatic effect. Since you both want the shares, and I promised you both, how about we hold a little auction? Whoever offers the most gets the prize, deal? Yun Jing'ang felt a twinge of annoyance but quickly recovered his composure. Not a bad idea. But if your best offer is lower than what we already agreed on, then it's a no-go. Gu Jinghua hesitated, glancing at Qin Yu. He didn't really know Qin Yu that well. He was mostly going off Jiang Xian's word. If Qin Yu couldn't pony up the cash, and the final bid was too low, he'd be losing money. Well, if Hua wants to transfer the shares to me, I can beat your agreed-upon price by another 30%. Sound good? Qin Yu said casually, projecting complete confidence. Finally, they were getting to the real conversation. Whoa, Qin, are you for real? You even know what my shares in the Jiangyun Hotel are worth? He Jinghua looked surprised, but couldn't help but wonder if it was all a bluff. Yun Jing'ang snickered. Mr. Qin, empty promises are easy to make. But you don't strike me as someone who's got that kind of cash. Qin Yu smiled mysteriously. Easy enough to find out. Turning to Gu Jinghua, he said, what's the deal? If Director Yun's offering more than me, then I'm out. Just wire my money back. Easy peasy. Seriously, Gu Jinghua finally looked impressed, his gaze fixed on Qin Yu. 30 billion, that's a full 300 million more than Jinghua's bottom line. This is not a small sum, even Gu Jinghua himself cannot easily get 300 million in cash. Especially now, when he is short of money. Originally, he didn't believe that Qin Yu could afford the equity in his hands, so what he said just now was just a bit of ignorance for Qin Yu, and now that he can come up with 300 million in one bite, it can't be fake. No rich second generation would dare to trample on their reputation casually. Jiang Xian was also shocked when he heard the 300 million, but he was not so surprised when he remembered that Qin Yu had a 5-element Supreme Black card. And was about to buy the entire Jiangyun Hotel. Qin Yu said confidently, there is no joke, Brother Hua, just give me your bank account, and I will transfer the money over immediately. Any bank account will do. Any bank will do. Then, should I write you a receipt or sign a contract? After all, what you transferred was a large amount of money, without any evidence, and if I confide in you alone, you can't help it. He Jinghua laughed. You're right. Qin Yu smiled, pretending to ponder, but secretly asked about the omnipotent system. Now, what instructions does the host have? Ask you, if you transfer the money to the other party's account, but the other party refuses to accept the account, can you get that money back? Host, yes, but it will consume check-in points. Sign-in point. Qin Yu remembered that there is indeed a column for sign-in points in the system. Since there was a way to get it back, I didn't think about anything else. Chapter 49 Proposals. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, Brother Hua, just give me your bank details. I trust you enough not to need a receipt. Chao Jinghua grinned. Since you insist, here's my card. It's with Longsha Construction Bank, just transfer the money there. Qin Yu took the card and pulled out his phone. System, transfer 30 billion to this account. Ding, transaction complete. Qin Yu handed the card back to Chao Jinghua, smiling. 30 billion should be in your account now. Chao Jinghua was speechless. That's plenty. He'd moved big sums before, but nothing like this. Even a few million required multiple computer transfers. This guy just tapped on his phone and moved 30 billion. What kind of sorcery was this? Was he being played? Just as Chao Jinghua was getting ready to blow a fuse, his phone pinged with a text message. It was a notification from Longsha Construction Bank, 30 billion deposited. He read the message over and over, making sure he wasn't seeing things, then burst out laughing. Brother Qin, you're a man of your word. 30 billions in the bank. Now we can all sit down and hash out the equity transfer. That confirmed it. Qin Yu had really transferred 30 billion to Chao Jinghua's account. Han Xian was ecstatic. Her gamble had paid off. The nail-biting anxiety she felt just moments ago melted away, replaced by pure exhilaration. She knew that 30 billion for Chao Jinghua's 20% stake in Wujianjian Hotel was already a steal. No matter how you sliced it, Jiangyun Hotel wasn't worth 100 billion, and this bid blew that valuation out of the water. The only snag was Yun Zhengang. Would he be able to come up with the cash? Would he try to block the deal? It would be a major headache if he used his position as a major shareholder, combined with the voting rights from the 30% 5-share agreement with Huaxia Commercial Bank, to oppose the transfer, but the bank's shares were already in Qin Yu's hands, so all the worrying was for naught. Sure, Yun Zhenggang's connections were intimidating, but Qin Yu was no pushover either, silently acquiring Longsha Commercial Bank, which held 30% equity in Wujianjian Hotel, then dropping another 30 billion to buy Chao Jinghua's shares. That kind of clout dwarfed everyone in the room. Chao Jinghua sat back down, a slow grin spreading across his face as he looked at Yun Zhengang. Patriarch Yun, you saw it yourself. Brother Qin dropped 30 billion. How much can you offer? Yun Zhengang gave a wry smile. Why ask the question when you already know the answer, Brother Chao? I can't match 30 billion. To be honest, I'm tempted to sell my own shares at that price. Another thing was that Yun Zhengang was also shocked by Qin Yu's operation just now. He can't do it if the 30 billion arrives in a few seconds, or through his personal account. Since Chairman Yun can't beat that, I guess I'll be signing the contract with Brother Hua, Qin Yu said. Yun Zhenggang's expression was unreadable. He had considered calling a shareholders' meeting to block the transfer. But he also realized that the Yun family's position wasn't rock solid, and the other guy seemed to have some serious backing. So, he nixed the idea. Kid, he said. I'll admit, you've got deep pockets. You're so desperate to get a piece of Jiangyun Hotel. Fine, have it your way. Qin Yu bowed slightly. I appreciate Director Yun's acceptance. Brother Hua, let's get the transfer papers signed. Sounds good, Chao Jinghua replied, beaming. The CFO, Miss Wang, went to prepare 3 new equity transfer contracts and place them on the table. They all signed the 3 contracts, with 1 copy going to Sister Wang for safekeeping and to handle the transfer process. With the business concluded, Chao Jinghua stood up, smiling. I've got a friend to meet, so I can't hang around. Brother Qin, even though the transfer isn't official yet, he's still a shareholder here. You can consult Patriarch Yun more about the hotel's affairs. Let's catch up again soon. Qin Yu said, thank you Brother Chow for your guidance. Since you still have something to do, let's talk about it another day. I'm leaving first, and Patriarch Yun, take my leave. Don't bother seeing me out. Brother Hua, take care. Chao Jinghua gave Jiang Xian another look before leaving the office with him. After Chao Jinghua and Jiang Xian had left, Yunjing smiled insincerely at Qin Yu. Mr. Qin, while you've managed to buy 20% of the hotel from Mr. Chow, I still call the shots here. Do you really think it's worth spending that kind of money? Qin Yu leaned back, a smile playing on his lips. Whether it's worth it is my business, Director Yun. Mr. Qin is now the new shareholder of the hotel, so let's hold a shareholders meeting. Director Yun, why don't you just say what's on your mind? Yun Jing'ang scanned the faces of those present, finally settling on Han Xian, his lips curling into a sneer. As a major shareholder, I've decided to officially dismiss Han Xian as room manager of Jiangyun Hotel. What do you say to that, Mr. Qin? That everyone knew that Director Yun was flexing his muscles, delivering a jab to the new shareholder. They all knew Han Xian had defected to Qin Yu, so hitting her was like slapping Qin Yu in the face. Qin Yu grinned. Director Yun, I object to your suggestion. Objection overruled. Yun Jing'ang declared flatly. That's equivalent to a shareholder's vote. The shareholders have 3 voting rights, and I have 1. So, Mr. Qin, you'll just have to live with it. Ma Yichuan sneered as well. Director Yun, I'll notify the company immediately about your decision and formally relieve Manager Han of her duties. He and Qin Yu were obviously not on the same side. If Yun Jing'ang wanted to put the new shareholder in his place, he was happy to pile on. Sure, Qin Yu was a shareholder now, but his power had been neutered. No one would listen to him. He'd be a paper tiger, so why should he be afraid? Qin Yu looked at the 2 men, intrigued. Director Yun, since you've made up your mind, I'll naturally support you and agree to remove Han Xian as room manager. Sister Wang, the CFO, was also taken aback by these words. Mr. Qin. Han Xian, who was still a little disapproving, now looked at Qin Yu in disbelief. She started to say something, but Qin Yu raised his hand to stop her. Mr. Qin is kind-hearted and courageous. Yun Jing'ang acted like he had expected it for a long time, and there was nothing unexpected, but he still made a mockery. It's best if Mr. Qin can align his views with ours. Ma Yichuan snickered, looking at Qin Yu with contempt. Han Xian may not be suitable as the hotel's room manager, but she could be the general manager. What do you think of that idea, Director Yun? Qin Yu ignored the mockery and dropped his bombshell. The smirk froze on Ma Yichuan's face, his jaw hanging open. If Han Xian became the general manager, what would that mean for him? He'd be out of a job. Chapter 50. The acquisition was successful. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ma Yichuan suddenly recalled Qin Yu's earlier comment in the lobby about his days as Jiangyun Hotel's general manager being numbered. It was clear Qin Yu was gunning for him, but then he scoffed. Without Yun Jing'ang's okay, Qin Yu couldn't touch him. Reassured, Ma Yichuan looked at Qin Yu with even more disdain. So, Qin, you made Han Xian general manager because you want my job. Don't think you can just waltz in here and start calling the shots just because you snagged some shares in the hotel. With Director Yun here, you're not in charge yet. Qin Yu simply smiled and ignored Ma Yichuan. He was small fry. Turning to Yun Jing'ang, he asked, Director Yun, what do you say to my proposal? Yun Jing'ang smiled back. Qin, I don't know who you are or what kind of connections you have. But I'm telling you now, I'm not accepting your proposal. You can collect dividends on your Jiangyun Hotel shares, but stay out of how the hotel is run. Since you won't agree to replace the general manager, I guess we'll have to take it to a shareholder vote, Qin Yu said, unfazed. You really think that'll work? I control 2 votes, which is 70% of the shares. You only have 1, the smallest slice of the pie. Don't you think you're wasting your time? Yun Jing'ang said impatiently. Who said I only hold 20% of the shares? Qin Yu's smile didn't waver. What are you getting at? Qin here already owns 35% of Huaxia Commercial Bank's shares in Jiangyun Hotel, and you didn't even know it, Han Xian announced proudly, backing Qin Yu up. Are you saying the hotel's pledged shares in Longxia Commercial Bank are now in Qin's hands? Yun Jing'ang demanded, shocked and angry. Director Yun, don't take my word for it. Ask Qin yourself. This isn't something I'd joke about. Yun Jing'ang fixed Qin Yu with a piercing stare. Is this true? He asked slowly. Ma Yichuan finally understood what was happening, and a wave of panic washed over him. How could this happen? How did we not hear about this? That if this was true, his days as general manager were over. He silently begged for it to be a lie. Ma Yichuan had been milking his position at Jiangyun Hotel for years. Sure, his base salary was good, but his bonuses were astronomical. And since Chairman Yun rarely visited the hotel, he basically had free rein, taking kickbacks and skimming profits whenever he could. Plus, his status as general manager of a 7-star hotel opened doors to wealthy businessmen and celebrities, all eager to get on his good side. If Qin Yu really had control, and he was fired, all that would vanish. Sister Wang, the CFO, was also stunned. She hadn't seen this coming, and her face grew serious. As one of the hotel's shareholders, recruited by a headhunting firm, her loyalty was primarily to the shareholders. She knew the hotel shouldn't be under the sway of a single person. If Qin Yu controlled 60% of Jiangyun Hotel's shares, her job would definitely change. Qin Yu confirmed, Han Xian's right. I own 60% of the hotel's shares. Call Longxia Commercial Bank if you don't believe me. Yun Jing'ang was silent for a long moment, deep in thought. Finally, he glanced at the CFO. Sister Wang understood immediately. She pulled out her phone, made a quick call, and stepped outside. The call was brief. When she returned, she looked shocked. Director Yun, she said to Yun Jing'ang, it's confirmed. The bank has transferred the shares to Qin's name. But those shares were pledged to the bank. How could they transfer them? That's illegal. Ma Yichuan's face was ashen. He couldn't believe it, and he refused to accept it. Yun Jing'ang shot Ma Yichuan a look that could kill. Silencing him, he stood up, looked at Qin Yu with a mix of confusion and grudging respect, and said in a hoarse voice, Qin, you're not just skilled, you've got guts. You're a force to be reckoned with. He sighed. I'm willing to step aside. The hotel is yours. I'm out. Farewell. With heavy steps, he turned to leave, his plans in ruins. Yun Jing'ang was caught completely off guard. He needed to leave and figure out what had happened, to investigate Qin Yu's background before making any further moves. Director Yun, wait. I have something else I want to discuss with you, Qin Yu called out. What is it? Yun Jing'ang asked, turning back and reluctantly sitting down. Qin Yu cut to the chase. Now that I own 60% of Jiangyun Hotel, I'm also very interested in buying your remaining 40%. Would you be willing to sell? You want to buy my shares, too? Yun Jing'ang was surprised. How much are you willing to pay? I was thinking the same price Brother Hua got. What do you say? Qin Yu responded smoothly. He was actually a little nervous. If Yun Jing'ang agreed, he'd finally unlock level 5 sign-in. If not, he'd have to negotiate on the price, but he wasn't holding his breath. Jiangyun Hotel had been in the Yun family for generations. Offering to buy their last piece of the pie felt like a long shot. Qin Yu braced himself for a ridiculous counteroffer. To his surprise, Yun Jing'ang seemed excited. Is that true? Yun Jing'ang asked, his voice filled with hope. Qin Yu, caught off guard, confirmed, yes, it's true. But you just spent 30 billion. Do you even have the cash to buy my shares right now? I'm not going to agree to an installment plan. In other words, if he had the money, they had a deal. Qin Yu was thrilled. So, as long as I have the cash, you'll sell me your shares at the same price? Yes. Great. Then figure out how much you have and draw up the contract. I can send the money over anytime. Qin Yu chuckled. He wanted to make it clear that he was good for the money. With barely any negotiation, the deal was struck.